I'm Kiaran.
I'm Alex.
And we're the Sherlocks on BFBS, the Forces Station.
So 5 albums in 8 years isn't bad going, especially when COVID put a halt to things for a while.
Yeah, well, I think when we first came around, I think our first album came out in 2017, which feels like a lifetime ago, but at the same time, it feels like 20 seconds ago. So it's crazy how fast time's gone. But like you mentioned, since COVID, I actually think we've turned the screw. We had a lineup change just before COVID, weirdly, and then we obviously went into the COVID times, and that's where Alex to my left and Trent, who's in a van somewhere, joined. But from there, I really do think we've just seemed to... We hit the ground running on the third record, and then the fourth didn't take much doing. We were straight in studio, and we've just done the same again this time around. Like, got straight back into studio and churning the albums out.
But you set a high bar from the start, because like the first album got like top 10.
Yeah, it did. Number 6, I think it got. We were like a bit of a buzz band at the time. Just like many bands are, when you're bringing your first album out, you've released demos, you've started getting a fan base, people are excited about you. But yeah, I look back on that and I don't really see that as where you actually are. I always think if you're a band bringing your debut album out, you get an extra percentage, which is just basically hype. So I think when you're 5 albums in like us, I think that's when you find out where you're really at. I think there's definitely room to... At this point, you take away the hype. Nobody can call us a hype band at this point when we've literally got 5 albums out.
Do you feel like veterans now?
I don't know.
5 albums, that's a lot.
It is, but I mean, you ask Alex, since the third album, when we met down at Rockfield, these 3 albums have just absolutely flown by. Like, it's been a...
Big time.
It's not like we do an album and then we all just... I go to Barbados and put my feet up for 6 months, and Alex flies to Argentina, sipping
chimichurri out of a pint glass.
Yeah, we're just constantly creating, and if I'm not demoing, no doubt we'll be playing an in-store gig somewhere, or we'll be playing a festival. We're always busy, so yeah, it's surprising how fast these albums come around. I mean, I'm already thinking about the next one. To be fair, it's crazy. Crazy world.
Well, take us back to the start, Kiaran, because originally it was you and your brother Brandon on drums, joined by Josh and Andy Davidson.
Yeah, two sets of brothers. That were the early days, all the demos leading up to it and early singles. And we gathered a bit of a buzz. And then since Trent and Alex have come in, I think we've just literally gone to the next level. Like, the songs feel better. I feel like I'm writing a lot more, but a bit more effortlessly. I sort of just pick the guitar up when I want to pick it up, as opposed to like trying to force stuff. And the songs, I think a sound slightly changed, but I can't describe how.
The dynamic of the band changed, because I mean, you were like 4 close friends, and then 2, dare I say it, strangers come in.
Oh, we were.
Oh yeah, we were. Yeah, we literally were strangers.
Yeah, because we live quite away from each other.
When we met Alex, it was such a weird time anyway, but like pretty much at the height of COVID, or certainly leading up to that point. And he came over to sunny Yorkshire, and we met in a working men's club where we used to practice, and just sat in back of a working men's club in the concert hall. And that's when we first met Alex, and just thrashed through a load of tunes and played some guitar and had a laugh. And a similar thing with Trent, except with Trent maybe a year previous or 2 years previous to that.
Had he not toured with you?
He backlined. So yeah, it's crazy how it's all panned out.
So Alex, take us back to that working man's club. What was your first impression?
Well, a room full of strangers. It was just before COVID. I'd just got back from Barcelona on a holiday, and I had no sense of taste and smell. I'd lost it. And they'd all been on about it, and I went, I don't even know if I should be here. We sort of hit it off straight away, but we went down to Rockfield to record the third album, and with all the songs were just getting... It was all done over WhatsApp, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because we couldn't really see each other. So the first time we got to know each other was down at Rockfield. And it was probably one of the best experiences ever. Obviously, the history there is
mental, yeah. Like Queen, Stone Roses, Oasis, loads of people have been there. But yeah, like Alex says, that is literally where we got to know each other, because I think collectively we had one practice, and then all the rest were just literally messages over WhatsApp, me sending bits of... Because I think the mission initially was for Trent and Alex to learn our back catalogue of songs. But in the meantime, my dad, who's his manager, was trying to get Rockfield Studios booked in with Dave. And then I think Dave just phoned one day and just said, yeah, we've sorted it. We've got 3 weeks booked in there. All systems go. So I literally had to message Alex and Trent and just say, forget the old tunes for now. I've got a bunch of new songs I need to teach you. Yeah. So sent them demos, and then I had to video myself playing what would be Alex's part, or what I'd come up with that I knew Alex were going to play. So video myself, do the same with bass lines and stuff like that, send them off to Trent and just be like, can you just learn these as a starting point?
Yeah.
And if we come up with anything new down at the studio, then that's a bonus. And and then we literally just got to know each other in them 3 weeks.
It was like a crash course.
We didn't even come home, did we? We stayed down Brockfield for the full 3 weeks and just basically had a party, like staying up.
Left a little bit of a soul down there, I think.
Yeah, staying up well, like 5, 6 in the morning every night, like literally every night. It was just mental, but it was good. It was a really fun time, and I think we all look back on it just thinking, how the hell could we drink that much port?
Alex, for you, what's it like being in a band with two guys that are that close?
I don't know. I've not got a brother, so I don't really know what it's like. I've got a sister, so I can't really imagine what it's like to, never mind being in a band. But no, I mean, it's a great set of lads. We have a really good...
Thank you.
For now.
Well, musical history tells us that there's been a lot of friction between brothers and bands in the past, and big fallouts, Everly Brothers, the Kinks, Bee Gees, UB40, and of course, we must mention Oasis. Siblings in a band can be tricky. For you, Kiaran, has it always been plain sailing? I mean, siblings always fall out at some stage.
We've had a couple of fallouts, but I'm not going to try and say we fall out all the time. See, I'm pretty chilled out. Brandon's we're just different. I think that's why it kind of works, because we're different characters. Like, if I got any more chilled, I'd be horizontal. And Brandon's really switched on and he's like trying to keep loads of things busy at the same time. And I'm a lot more chilled. So it kind of works. We keep out of each other's way. Yeah, we get on well, and we're not like competing songwriting and stuff like that. Like, I'll take care of songwriting, and Brandon does loads for the band in other ways. So we work pretty well, to be fair. But I have had a drumstick at my head before.
I think this your third album you've released on your own label after a couple with a bigger label. Is a big difference doing it yourselves.
Yeah, it is, but do you know what? I find it really enjoyable than when we were on a label. I think you've just got a lot more ownership of what you're creating. And I can remember speaking to Rick Witter from Shed 7, and they're in a similar sort of position. I think they're self-managed and all that business. But yeah, Rick was saying the exact same. He was like, he said, surely it makes sense if you're coming up with something that you love and you're pouring your heart and soul into it to create something that you're really happy with, surely you should have full control of it as opposed to compromising it. It's just a slow process, man. So I prefer the way we are now. I think we're just way better. Like, we're a lot faster. It's just like boom, boom, boom. Even writing songs for albums, like, I don't write as many songs now. If we're making a 10-track album, I'll write 13 songs max, and then it's like, go and record them, and that's the album.
Now, you mentioned Rick Witter from Shed 7. You toured with them last year on their 30th anniversary tour. Another great band from Yorkshire, of course. Imagine what they've done could only inspire a band like the Sherlocks.
Yeah, Shed 7 are class. I've always been a fan of them. I've seen them loads of times. and I always enjoy the music. But like when we're on tour with him, just seeing him backstage and stuff like that, they're super cool dudes and really down to earth, really welcoming. And that tour we did with him were absolutely class. Like, yeah, so many good memories from that. And seeing him enjoy it every night as well. Like, they've been doing it years, but they're still absolutely rocking on stage, and Rick's swinging his hips about, and he's class.
Actually, talking about when you're on tour, do you try to keep fit? Is it important to keep fit, or is it all about junk food?
No,
a good time.
That Shed 7 tour is probably for me, and I think we all ate really well. Well, probably ate the healthiest thing on the Wetherspoons menu, but yeah, no, I felt good.
I felt good. I think a lot of it they were catering on a lot of them gigs. Yeah, do we try and look after ourselves?
Everything in moderation.
Yes.
I'm really into my new emerging bands coming through, and I've noticed when you guys tour, you get some cool acts on the bill with you. I remember seeing you in Glasgow. You had the Snuts supporting just before they broke out. How important is it for you, having been supported by other acts when you were coming through, to support new acts?
It's something more bands should be doing. I think you should be doing that. You should be supporting. Even like one thing we like to do is support upcoming acts, but even like you mentioned, Snuts and bands like that, support the local bands from that area. Like if we're going to Manchester, we do like to get often like a local Manchester band who's coming through, and it certainly makes the tour more interesting as well. And like we mentioned earlier, obviously we're very much a DIY band. We like to get involved in that side of things and come up with a list of bands that's going to obviously fit the show and be like, probably not going to stick something absolutely crazy that don't fit in with our kind of gig. But yeah, we love to get involved and get upcoming bands, and it's good to keep supporting them. And then obviously, like you mentioned, years later, they end up, some of them end up like blowing up really big. So it's class.
Guys, thanks very much for joining us today.
No, thank you for having us, mate.
Thank you.